Hey guys, so we've had a little bit of confusion on how to run the carpet cleaner, so I'm going to go over a quick tutorial on how to do that. A few things to know for this is the instruction manual is right up here, so this will tell you how to run it if you ever kind of question it and you don't want to look up the video. Some quick things to know, we have two sets of rollers. We have the Space Ready and then the Deep Clean. These are the Deep Clean rollers, and these are the ones that take like a day and a half to dry. So if we have these on, we need to have the air movers. The other ones are the blue ones. Those can dry quickly, so they're good if we need to like carpet clean on Friday and we have an event on Saturday. These are great if we have like the whole week to kind of just let it air dry. So getting it ready, you'll kind of want to know which ones you have on, so you can ask us to switch them. We will do the switching for you. But the first thing you're going to do is fill it with water. So I always use, there's a little hole right here you can fill with water. I have seen somebody do it through the hose. I guess that works too. Otherwise, if you come to the front and you lift this, you can fill it through there as well. When it's parked in here like this, it's easiest just to fill through this hole. I did put some water in there already. So we'll just take the hose out, plug that. It should also always get plugged into charge. So to do that, you see here there's a little latch here. This is going to keep it from pushing down on the cord. And we just lift open the top and you can see it connects right in here. So we just have to unplug that. Now it's not like the carpet cleaner where you have to plug that into something else. This charges the batteries directly. So the next thing you want to do is kind of fold that in so it doesn't keep the door propped or the hood propped open, and set the hood shut. The last thing you need to set on here before you carpet clean is this lid. We usually put it up here so it doesn't fall, but that just sits right on top of here. It can go any direction, but this is what creates the suction to suck the water back up. So if you don't have this on, it's not going to suck the water. So your next steps are to turn on your key, and then you can kind of move it forward and back as needed to kind of drive it out. So you just turn the handles back to roll back and push them, turn them forward to go forward. I want to be very careful when you drive. Don't bump the head on anything, especially the doorway. So just kind of drive it out. You can adjust your speeds right here. When I'm driving by itself, I just kind of like to go a little slow. Make sure I don't crash into anything. Once you put the head down, you can go a little faster, because the head is actually going to slow your speed quite a bit. So right now we have the Space Ready rollers on. So this room did get done once already, and you can kind of see it's already been dried. It dried pretty quickly. I'm just going to kind of show you how to run it. So the first thing you need to do is check this switch here. So it needs to be up and on. The next thing you're going to do is go ahead and drop the head. So here you can see it's going to lift the head up, and this is going to push it down. So we're going to turn that down, and you can watch it's lowering the head and it's going to lift the vacuum up. Now it might get kind of loud here. So we want to watch this gauge here. And as I go, you can see it's kind of sitting right in the green. We don't want it in the red. And if it's kind of low, you can just stop and push your head down a little further. So see there, it's getting a little further in the green. And we've got our water on the ground. We can kind of even go a little lower. Then you kind of just turn it and push it so you can see it's leaving the water behind. And then you can turn. You can't back up with this on. So then you switch it off, turn that switch, and turn the key off. Now something we don't ever want to run out of water. If it runs out of water, it's going to get an air pocket in there, and then it's not going to push the water through properly. We're not going to get the water on the ground. Some things to check is if it's not spraying, make sure the nozzles in here are cleared out, so you might have to take that off a little bit. If it's not sucking, you might have not put the cap on, so make sure you have that on. And then, yeah, make sure you have water in it at all times. If you do the whole event hall, you will run out of water, so just kind of keep an eye on that. You can see your level in this tube here. So that's how you run that. I am going to show you guys how to use the hose attachment. This is something not a lot of you know how to do. We use it for when we clean the chairs specifically. It's a handheld attachment, so kind of like a wand that we can use for that. And I do have to clean some chairs, so this will be good timing for that. So for this, you can kind of just back it in. If you want, you can carry the hose attachment to where you are as well. I'm just gonna kind of leave it right in the hallway. But your hose attachment's right here on the wall. So we have the suction hose, and then we have the water hose. So you need to grab, they're connected. So you need to grab all of that. Bring that all with, oops. Kind of just set all of it on the ground here. Alright, give myself a little more room. So for connecting this, we have this hose here. This is, you can see the water suction up through here. So if you're ever wondering if you're sucking up water, you can see it in here. But we're going to disconnect this bottom portion, and that's where we're going to connect our hose. So it's going to suck the water up through there and put it up into the tank. So the next thing we're going to do is put on the water hose. So this is where the water comes in and it goes into the hose. So this, you have to pull back on this portion here and just push it on. Now you want to make sure it clicks. Take a little bit, might have some pressure built up. Let me set it down and put it on. Alright, so you can see it clicked. It's all the way up there. This pops back up once it's connected. So we'll grab all our hoses here. Collect everything, and then we'll drive it into the corridor where we have the chairs. All right. So you got a pretty long hose, so typically when we have them all lined up, I'll drive a few chairs in, and then you can go back. It reaches about 10 to 12 chairs long, so you can kind of set it pretty far away and still be able to reach them all. As you can see, we need to put the deep rollers on and come through the corridor to try and pick that up. The Ready Space ones couldn't get it. So for the handheld, you want this switch off. That's going to make it so that you can use the hand tool. Your speed won't matter, so you can leave that wherever, and then you just drop the head like normal. So it's going down. And we'll start the suction again. So here you can kind of check the head. If you feel it, you can hear the suction of it. So you use the spray nozzle and you'll just spray the chair. This one's pretty dirty, so I'm going to get a little extra. Someone spilled some cake on it. And then you just go ahead and suction it all up. So I might need to grab a towel. This one's pretty bad. Got some dried stuff on it. But then you just go ahead and suck that all up. Make sure you get the edges. and then do the back as well. So I'll let this one soak a little bit. We'll spray it again. But we'll let that soak. So I would go ahead and do that for all of these. Now I'm not going to drive it all the way back, but to put it away, you're going to disconnect this hose, disconnect your tube, and reconnect that one. And then we also have to empty. So we have water in our clean tank yet, but then this will start to fill with dirty water. You kind of see it collecting in there. So what you do to empty those is just take this hose off and this one, and you take the cap off and dump them down the drain. And then you go ahead and open the lid and plug it back in. You have to plug it back in every time, otherwise it won't charge enough to do a whole nother cycle of the whole event hall. That's basically it for that. Some of it's a little bit of troubleshooting if you have issues, so you can just ask me or Ashley if you have any problems.